Hello everyone and welcome back to Teachers Talk Money, where I help teachers master their money in order to give back to themselves. Today we are going to be going through all of my houseplants. This is a highly requested video, mostly from my Instagram audience because they see me posting a lot of pictures of my plants on my stories, which if you're interested in that kind of content, follow me at Teachers Talk Money on Instagram. Do a short introduction, a little bit about my history with houseplants, and then we'll get into looking at all of my beautiful plants. I think the biggest thing for me with plants was that I just never thought of myself as somebody who could really take care of plants. I had a couple of plants and really left my partner up to all of the care tasks for them, which was not great either because he really didn't care about doing that. But then when the pandemic hit, I started taking a more active role in the plant care and getting new plants and taking care of those. And it turned out to be something that wasn't as difficult as I thought it was going to be and was actually extremely fulfilling to me. I love taking care of things and being responsible for things that are living, breathing things, and also add a lot of beauty and sort of meditative routine to my life. So, without further ado, let's get into all of my beautiful plants. I'm gonna try to do this from plants I've had the longest to plants that are the newest. Now, I do want to preface this with saying that I am not the most amazing plant mom in the world. You are going to see some damage on these plants. I'm doing my best, I'm learning as I go, and I'm okay with that. So let's get into it. Oh boy. Alright, we are going to start with the plant that you guys know and love. This lemon lime Draconia, I believe is what it's called, is featured in a lot of my YouTube videos. Just because it's one of the bigger plants I have, and where I filmed I used to have the plant stand right next to it, so thought it added some nice color and life to my background. This was one of two plants that I purchased. Actually, my partner's mom purchased it for us at a nursery near her house. And this was before I was really into plant care, so it survived a really long time with my partner taking questionable care of it, which is impressive. It used to be a lot fuller. You can see all of these sort of places on the stem where leaves used to be, and those kind of died off, and so whenever that happens I just simply prune it and it keeps kind of growing upward, which obviously it would be nice to have a fuller look. That being said, I think it's kind of starting to look a bit tree-like, and I'm not disappointed with that either, and the fact that there's still new growth and that a lot of these leaves seem to be pretty happy makes me happy. So I'm trying to take good care of it and mist it as well to keep the ends from drying. Some of the ends have dried, as you can see, like here's one, and then there are a couple I've cut off. But like I said, I'm doing my best with it. It's a lot happier than before, and it always has a lot of new growth, which is a pretty good sign. Okay, which takes us to, again, these are the oldest plants I have, so they're also very much the heaviest. This is my snake plant, which, as many of you probably know, these are pretty much unkillable, which is great because, again, this was another plant that was purchased for us and that Brian really was tasked with taking care of. This plant has grown so much. I had to put it in a much bigger pot than what it was in before because it was starting to kind of like get constrained in a smaller pot. There's lots of new growth. I cut off a couple of the leaves where there was a little bit of browning, but for the most part it's been pretty happy. I'm excited to see how tall it's going to get. I'll try to put in some pictures of my plants, by the way, as well, from when they were newer and not quite as large, so we can kind of compare. But I'm pretty excited to see it fill out this pot and get really tall. And I love it. It's just really low maintenance, and it's been with me for a long time, been through a lot together. By the way, I don't name my plants. I don't have names for any of these plants. No judgment to people who do. I just, I don't know, not for me. Okay, the next plant we're going to talk about is my Pothos. Now, these are really special to me because these are the first plants I bought when I was actually truly getting into being a plant owner and a plant parent. And they've really been thriving since. Now, again, pothos are really easy to take care of, and so it's not like super personal victory or anything, but they're just so beautiful and I'm really proud of them and happy with them. So I bought this one Pothos, and I will post a picture of what it looked like when I first got it. I got this from Grounded, which is an amazing Black-owned, women-owned plant store that is local to DC. However, I believe they do ship nationwide, and the quality of plant that I have gotten from them has always been phenomenal. So highly, highly recommend buying from Grounded. And the really cool thing about this plant is also the first plant that I propagated to create the second Pothos. I used to have these hanging in my old apartment. In my current apartment, I'm not allowed to hang things from the ceiling, so they now live on the ground, but as you can see, this one has really just flourished and thrived. I did not plant the propagations like as close to one another as they kind of look in this one, so they have really two totally separate looks, but now that this one is filling out and actually a lot of vines are happening, it's really, really wonderful. So both of these have been doing amazing. Every now and then a leaf will kind of get yellow. This one's sort of starting to get yellow, and I will prune them, but for the most part they're really happy, lots of new growth, and really, really beautiful. So super happy with how these turned out. Which brings us to the next couple of plants. I also got a ZZ plant from Grounded shortly after I purchased the Pothos, I believe, and this plant is just so amazing. It's another pretty unkillable one, and it almost looks fake because it is just so luscious and beautiful. Hasn't really had much browning at all. I think there might be like one leaf on here that I cut off the tip of because of browning. It's grown quite a lot from when I first got it, and I'm still seeing new growth in it every now and then. My big struggle with this one is to make sure that I don't water it too much, but I've gotten much better about that, and she's really been thriving, so proud of her. And then I think in the same order as when I got my ZZ plant, but maybe slightly staggered, I got this Calathea Orinata, I believe, from Grounded as well, and I'm so obsessed with this plant. It is a prayer plant, and it does have the purple leaves on the back, which I just think are so beautiful and gorgeous. And the front even itself just looks hand painted because it's so beautiful. This has grown a lot since I first got it as well. This was the first like harder to care for plant that I ventured into getting, and I mean, she's not perfect. She's got a little bit of browning here and there, but for the most part, I'm really excited with how wonderfully she has been thriving. She's got new growth all the time, and yeah, it's been a journey. Look at those beautiful purple leaves on the back. I mean, come on. Come on. All right, here she is. I rode the train. And this was the second hard to care for plant that I got, which is my Fiddly Fig. I also got this plant from Grounded, and it came in pretty good condition. There's a little bit of like holes in the leaves that kind of came in there, but nothing too serious. And from that point on, she has been growing and thriving and loving life. And I was shocked because I was like pretty certain I was gonna kill this plant just based on what I've heard. But I think I just picked a good spot for her with sunlight and have been able to keep up with her consistent watering schedule. These two leaves, I believe, are the new ones. So this one sprung up and this bad boy sprung up. And they are just gorgeous, luscious, green, happy leaves. I'm really happy with this plant. I'm excited to see it grow and grow and grow. I see a lot of people buying like super mature fiddly figs that are already like basically trees. And I kind of made the decision that I wanted to get a smaller one and sort of watch it grow, especially because I wasn't sure if I was gonna kill it. So I wanted to make sure that I was doing something that was fiscally responsible by not dropping hundreds of dollars on a plant that I was gonna kill. So I'm happy with that decision and can't wait to see her grow some more. I think the next plant I got was my money tree. Ironically, despite the fact that financially I'm doing very well and that I even give financial advice to others, my money tree has not been doing very well. I think I just had it in a spot that was too sunny for a really long time. So I've pruned a lot of leaves from it. As you can see, it's pretty like scarce. It's not very full, and there's a little bit of damage on some leaves. That being said, there is a lot of newer growth, and so I don't know what's really going on with this one, but I'm gonna keep trying. I put her in a little bit of a less sunny spot, and I have been watering it more often because I do think I wasn't watering it enough in the beginning, but that's how it's going, and hopefully it goes better. Notably, she didn't come to me in the best condition. I got this one online. I don't remember where, but it wasn't from Grounded, and that was clearly a mistake because she's not doing super well, which, I mean, honestly, that's probably more my fault, but we're working on it. Okay, next plant I have is this peace lily. I bought this in person at the Ace Hardware near my old apartment in Adams Morgan, which has a great selection of plants, and they have them in really good shape. And she's been doing okay. She's got some browning at the end of her leaves. Her peace lily lilies are like green now and not white. So I don't know, I'm doing my best. She requires more frequent watering, which I have been doing. And yeah, I don't know, I might have just had her in too sunny a spot or something that she lost that color, but I don't know. We don't understand each other, but. All right, speaking of plants that aren't doing amazing, I have my, I think it's a Stromanthe. I don't remember what kind it's called, but it's freaking beautiful. I'm obsessed with this plant. It's got all this pink on it. It looks amazing in this pot, and I love her, but she doesn't love me. She's just got a little bit of damage on some of these leaves. So if you have any care tips for this plant, please let me know, because I really don't want her to die. I don't think she is. She's got a lot of new growth and stuff, but I just want to be able to take a better care of her than I am, and I'm not totally sure what I'm doing. She still looks pretty good though, just a little bit of damage, and I just don't want it to go any farther. But yeah, I'm still pretty obsessed with her. It's not mutual. Okay. I rode this train too. So this I actually got in the same order as my Stromanthe. And this, of course, is a Monstera deliciosa, as I'm sure you know. This is another one of those plants that people buy really, really mature versions of. And once again, I wanted to buy it a little bit younger and grow it out myself. I love this plant. It's super intense. And it's kind of like crazy because it grows in all different directions. I might put a stake in it and kind of try to get it to grow more upward. But honestly, I kind of like the way it looks now, especially in this like geometric square pot I have it in. It's pretty happy. The only thing is this new leaf that grew, which is really beautiful, has some like weird browning damage at the end, and I'm not totally sure what to do about it. But it's got a lot of other new growth of these smaller leaves that don't have the holes in them yet. And all of the other leaves that were fully mature are totally happy. So for the most part, she's doing pretty well. And yeah, I just think she's incredible. Also, I'm not sure if I mentioned it, but those two plants, my Stromanthe and my Monstera, both came from Little Leaf Shop, which is also a local plant shop in DC, and they both came in really, really good condition. I love that place. Okay. That brings us to my most recent plant acquisition, which was Bird of Paradise. And I really wanted one of these for a long time. I bought it online. I feel like I found it at like the Home Depot or something, and that was a mistake. It just came with like a little bit of damage on like pretty much every leaf that it had, you know, clear damage that was obviously from like packing it, like these weird holes on this one that clearly it just like got bent over. But for the most part, they were all still alive. There was one dying leaf that I pruned off of the plant, and it has been doing well since. This giant leaf has grown since I got it, and she is living her best life. She's super happy, so hopefully I'll just see more growth from that. I do need to get a nice big juicy pot for this, but I just haven't done that yet. So hopefully I will get one of those soon, and she'll be even prettier in her new planter. But for the most part, I'm happy with how she's growing. I'm just not happy with the condition that she came in. Okay, and that brings us to my final plant, which is actually an orchid. Now, I would never buy an orchid on my own because frankly, I was terrified of taking care of them. I've just heard a lot of horror stories. One of my student athletes on the volleyball team actually got me this as a gift at the end of the season, and honestly, good job, Eric. This orchid has been doing really well. A couple of the flower petals did fall off or did kind of start to look crinkly, and I pruned them. But for the most part, I've been impressed with myself at my ability to keep her alive and mostly happy. I truly have not looked into orchid care other than a quick Google search when I first got her, and so I think for that she's doing pretty well. I'm sure there are some things I could be doing better, and if you have any orchid care tips or advice, please let me know below. Okay, and that is all of my plants, unless I'm forgetting one, but I'm pretty sure I wouldn't do that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you have any tips or suggestions for things that I'm doing very obviously wrong, please let me know. And once again, I do not claim to be an expert on plant care for many of these plants, but I still love them and want to do better, so let me know. I hope you enjoyed seeing all my plants. Have an amazing week, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!